Welcome Algebra 2. In this video we shall learn how to go from general to factored form, right? So in order to really understand general to factored form, I want us to look at this example problem here, right? So let's go ahead and first, right, this is actually factored form. I want us to first go from factored form to general one more time, right? As an example for us to learn how to go the opposite direction. So real quick, bear with me. What's x times x? That's going to be x squared. What's x times 3, right? So we're going to get x squared, hold on, plus, well, 3x, right? X squared times x, that, all right, cool. What's 2 times x? Well, 2 times x is going to be 2x. And what's 2 times 3? Well, 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. So we're going to get y is equal to x squared plus, well, what's 3x plus 2x? That's going to give me 5x. And then last but not least, we have this plus 6, right? So just like before, if you looked at the videos that involved going from general to vertex form, right? Kind of the introduction is, well, what can we do with the 2 and the 3 here to get the 5? Well, that's right. If you just see this in factor form, this is just 2 plus 3, which gives me the 5. And then what can you do with the 2 and the 3 to give me the 6? Well, that's right. 2 times 3. Which gives me that 6, right? So that's kind of the principles that we're going to do, right? If we want to go backwards, so let's say we have y is equal to, right? We know the answer. Here I have x and x. Okay, if I want to go back from here to up here, well, we just kind of have to think backwards, right? What two numbers, I'll put this right here, what two numbers add to give me 5, but multiply to give me 6, right? And that's just going to be 3 and 2. And we know we're just going to get plus in between, right? So that's kind of how we work through it. So let's go ahead and look at an example problem we have here, right? So we know my final answer should be y is equal to, I'm going to put some parentheses here. Okay, we should have an x here and we should have an x here, right? Because x times x is going to give me the x squared that we see right here. So, but now we need to figure out what are the two numbers that are going to go here, right? So, first thing we have to do is we have to look at this outside number, right? Because we know these two numbers here should multiply. When I multiply them, should give me negative 18. So, first thing we do is write all the factors of 18. Well, there's 1 and 18. There's 2 and 9, right? And then if you're confused, just pull out your calculator and just try a few more, right? 18 divided by 3. Oh, 3 and 6, so 3 and 6. And then just to be sure, let's try doing 18 divided by 4, but I think we've found them all, right? So decimal answer. So that's pretty much it, right? So we know these two numbers should multiply to give me negative 18. But remember, what should they do in the middle? Well, they should add, right? They should add to give me negative 7. So let's think this through. Can I add 1 and 18 or subtract them in any way to get negative 7? Well, it's not possible, right? Because you could try doing 1 plus 18. Well, that's 19. Obviously, that's not going to work. You could try 1 minus 18. That's going to be negative 17, but that's not going to work. You could try 18 minus 1. That's going to give you 17. Not going to work, right? So we know this is not going to work. Well, let's go over to the next one, the 2 and the 9. So what can we do with the 2 and the 9 to get a negative 7, right? Well, think about it, right? Let's think this through. What if you tried 9 minus 2? Well, 9 minus 2 is 7, but this is a problem because we want to get negative 7, right? Well, what if we flip it? What's 2 minus 9? Well, 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So there we go. We just found our answer, right? We know that the 9 should be negative. So when we go to do this, it should be plus 2. And then here's going to be minus 9. And now we know we figured out our answer from going from general to factored form, right? So we could do x times x. You'll see we're going to get x squared. X times negative 9, we're going to get negative 9x. 2 times x, and we're going to get plus 2x, and then 2 times negative 9, which gives me the negative 18. We combine like terms, and we're going to get x squared minus 7x minus 18, which matches the equation we had up here, right? So if you're ever confused, you could always use the quadratic formula on this to find your two roots, right? So if you use the quadratic formula, your eventual answer is going to be -2 and x is going to equal +9, right? Let me go ahead and write that a little bit nicer. We're going to get -2 and x is equal to +9. And we use the quadratic formula, but remember in factor form, it's always going to be the opposite, right? This is a -2, so we're going to get a +2. This is a +9, and we're going to get a -9. So just keep that in mind if you decide to use the quadratic formula, okay? Let's go ahead and look at one more example problem here. So we're going to get y is equal to, right, I'm going to go ahead and put it out, x and x here. All right, well, we read all the factors of these numbers here. Well, it's just 1 and 8, right? Just 1 and 8. Well, so we know there should be an 8 and a 1 here, right? Because there's nothing else. Oh, there is a few factors of 8. Sorry, what am I thinking? Let's go back here. We're going to get 2 and 4. There we go. So now, let's ask ourselves, right? I'm going to start with the bottom. Can I add 2 and 4 in any way to try to get -9? Well, it's not possible, right? That's not going to work. 2 plus 4 is going to give me 6. Nope. 2 minus 4 is going to give me -2. It's just not going to work. So we know this is not going to work. But nicely, we see here, right? Well, can we do anything with 1 and 8 to give me -9? Well, 1 plus 8 is going to give me 9, but that's not going to work because we want it to be -9. So what happens if we just make them both negative? Well, -1 plus -8 gives me -9. And therefore, we can conclude that this should be -1 and then -9. Sorry, this should be an 8. -1 times the -8, right? And then again, if you're not sure, verify it. Well, what's x times x? And we're going to get x squared. X times -8 is -8x. -1 times x is -1x. And -1 times -8, well, the two negatives give you a positive, right? And there we go. And finally, we're going to get y is equal to x squared. -8x minus 1x is going to give me -9x. And then we get +8. And voila, we have finished with going from general to factored form, right? Again, you could use the quadratic formula and you'll get your two roots and you can put it back into factored form. All right. Thank you.